What was the fur trade? You'll be using that reading strategy again, reading with purpose. Let's set our purpose with a question. What was the fur trade? Reading with purpose. Set a purpose for reading, read a bit, pause and ask questions, jot down some notes. Directions. First, read the 3 textbook paragraphs and write something you learned and something you're thinking of from each. Then answer the purpose question. Next, fill in the reasons for trading chart. Last, write about why this is important. I want, you want. The fur trade thrived because Europeans wanted things that the American Indians had, and the American Indians wanted things that the Europeans had. Many Dakota and Ojibwe wanted European goods. Clothes made of woven fabric were comfortable and required less work than making leather clothing. Colorful glass beads provided a new way to decorate leather moccasins and bags. Brass and tin kettles were durable and made cooking easier. Red dyes provided new ways to decorate hides and clothing. Many of the Dakota and Ojibwe found that these and other goods, such as axes and guns, made life simpler. I learned that. This makes me think of. Please pause the video and write your answers. The Europeans wanted pelts, especially from beavers. Hats made with beaver fur were considered symbols of the rich and powerful in Europe. People there were willing to pay a lot of money for them. Beavers had been hunted so much in Europe that they were almost extinct. Hat makers turned to fur traders who were working in North America. Skilled hunters and trappers, the Dakota and Ojibwe, could supply the Europeans with the pelts they wanted. Pelt, an animal skin with the fur on it. Hunter, a person, usually a man, who spent most of his time hunting or trapping animals for food and for pelts. I learned that. This makes me think of. Please pause and write your answers. More than furs. Besides the valuable furs, European traders needed food, labor, and tools, things that made living in the wilderness possible. French and British traders traveled long distances from the east coast of North America to set up trading posts each year in Ojibwe and Dakota lands. The Europeans could not carry enough food to last through the winter, so they traded with native people for wild rice, meat, and maple sugar. They also traded for canoes and hired Ojibwe or Dakota guides to help them navigate the miles of twisting rivers and trails. The Europeans also needed interpreters to help with the traders communicate with the Dakota and Ojibwe. Without the support of their American Indian trading partners, European traders could not have survived, let alone made a profit. A guide is a person hired to help voyageurs and fur traders find their way through unfamiliar lands. And an interpreter is a person who translates for people who speak different languages. I learned that, and this makes me think of. Pause before you continue and write your answers. What was the fur trade? The fur trade was, pause again, write your answer. Reasons for trading. I want, you want, and more than furs. Look at 506 to 508 above. Those are the pages we just read together. Europeans, Dakota and Ojibwe. What did this group have that they could trade? And what did this group want or need? Look back at those pages to fill this chart in. Why is the fur trade important in Minnesota history? The fur trade is important in Minnesota history because, pause and fill that in. Next time I'll ask you why the Europeans, Ojibwe, and Dakota decided to trade with each other. Something to think about. For now, turn in your amazing work at MNS, What Was the Fur Trade? Thanks, y'all.